you the kind of person that wants to make everybody happy? Do you just feel the need to get approval and validation? But even more than that, do you feel obligated to do things for others? Do you feel like you have to? You don't really have a choice. It's really hard to say no. Well, then you're a people pleaser. And this will turn out to be a really cruel life if you continue to be a people pleaser. Now, the reason a lot of us develop this trait, this nasty habit, this bad quality, is because we're raised in a situation, in a family, where validation is taken from us. We're always being told that we're not good. We're being told that we're not worthy. We're being told that we're bad. And if you were feeling a lot of disapproval from your parents as a kid, or your guardians, or the people that raised you, then you're going to have a huge tendency to wanna shine and make people validate you, make people think well of you. You feel like you always have to add value, but not in a way that's genuinely contributing because you want to, in a way that's desperate and needy. And look, the bottom line is this. It is a huge turnoff as for your charisma, as for your character, when you're constantly supplicating to other people. And the best way to get rid of this is actually really simple. Start saying no to everything. To everything. Just practice it. Become a no man, not a yes man. Become a no man or a no woman for at least 1 week. Just 7 days. Just try it. People call you and say, hey, can you do this for me? Nope. Hey, can we go out later tonight? I want to show you something. Nope. Even though you might want to, even though you might genuinely want to join in, just try it for a little while. I'm not saying you have to do it to everything. If there are a few things that you really want to be a part of and people ask you, sure, go for it. But try it as a general approach and just get a contrast to what you were doing before. The reason this is important is because we want to build a reference experience as to what happens when you stop trying to people please. And what you'll notice is you'll decline phone calls, you'll swipe right on emails, and you'll have your peace of mind back, quite honestly. You'll feel amazing. And you'll realize that probably the perfect balance is somewhere in the middle. You know, you say yes to the things you really want and no to the things that you might feel like you have to do, but you genuinely don't really want to do. But just try it. Because once you really see the other side of the coin, you'll realize how much you've been missing out on connecting with yourself, doing the things that you want to do, following your passion, your purpose in life, and how much you've been falling into the trap of trying to make others happy, which in the end is at the sacrifice of your own happiness. How about you can be happy and you can make people happy, but you're making them happy not from a place of trying to get their approval or trying to get them to like you, but rather from a place of, I feel good about myself, I genuinely want to help this person. If we can get you into that space, your life becomes that much better. You don't have to be a people pleaser forever. It can stop right now. It can stop today. If you simply adopt this small little habit, this small little trick that I just shared with you, and start saying no, start practicing it. Now, one thing that I did that really helped me personally was I put my phone on silence and I just leave it there all the time. And you know what? People call me and they say, oh, well, I can never reach you. It's really frustrating. Well, I say, you might want to schedule a time. And I know that sounds really dramatic and drastic, but me living by my own agenda has absolutely changed my life. And don't you want control of your day? Don't you actually want to live the day that you want to live? Not answering to what other people want from you, but rather really following what you want? It's pretty amazing. And you can have that. It's all yours. The only thing that you really have to give up is that feeling that you're chasing all the time, of trying to get that validation and approval. But what you'll notice is the more that you say no to other people, the more that you do what you want to do and stay away from trying to people please, the more you get a sense of calm and peace. And once you feel this feeling, you will never want to go back. That's why I'm trying to get you to just do it for a little while at least, so that you can see what it's really like. Once you have that reference experience, once you've seen that, hey, this is incredible, I feel much better, way less obligated, I only do the things that I really truly want to do, everything becomes that much easier. And you actually start to enjoy your life. You're no longer chasing after people's approval or trying to make everybody happy. You're making yourself happy. And you know what? The best way to be of a lot of value to other people is to first take care of yourself. So I'm asking you to please stop people pleasing. Please take care of you first. Whoop-ah! I want you to be able to experience personal freedom. That feeling where you feel like you can do anything. You feel like you can take on the world. You feel like you are worthy of your desires, your hopes, that you're enough. And the only way to liberate yourself and put yourself in that position is by saying to yourself, I'm good enough. I am enough. I am capable. I have it in me. This is self-talk that we aren't taught to develop. Instead, everybody around us says, do this, do that, follow these rules, make sure to sit quietly and behave well, otherwise you'll get spanked. Or maybe nowadays you just won't get a new iPad. Well, here's the thing. For you to feel real personal freedom, it's only you that can validate yourself. We're looking for approval from other people. We're looking for other people to tell us that we're good enough or that we're worthy to pursue whatever we want to pursue, to do what we want to do. But the trick is to validate yourself and approve yourself. Take the power out of everybody else's hands and achieve complete personal freedom through this one magical secret. It's not that magical after all. Just say to yourself, I'm good enough. You know what? It's okay. I'm gonna try it. It might not even work out. Let's give it a shot. You can start there. And then you can say, you know what? I own this. I have this. I got it covered. I'm more than enough. I'm more than capable. I've gone through worse. And I can go through even worse. And I'm prepared to go through even worse in order to achieve my goals. I want you to put yourself in a position where your mental conversation is supporting you instead of destroying you. I want you to feel like you are your own best friend. I know that sounds so cheesy, but God, is it ever powerful and useful when you're trying to do the thing that you need to do and the whole world seems to be against you and nothing's working and everybody's telling you to just give up and quit. Personal freedom is that feeling that says, you know what, I'm gonna keep going because it doesn't really matter if it doesn't work right now. I'm not looking for that external validation. I'm not looking for that approval. It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what they think. It doesn't matter what happens. It's not about the outcome. It's about that I know that it's the right thing to do. And that's why I'm doing it. And that's why I keep showing up. And as you're listening, what do you think I'm thinking? When I keep making these videos, the first 6 months I started this, nobody cared. Nobody knew who I was. Nobody wanted to watch me. But it grew. Why? And it keeps growing. Why? Because I keep showing up. Because my mental conversation says you can do it. You are capable. You have more than enough energy. You have value. You can provide and produce it. You can find new ways to innovate, bring it across in a more creative way, in a more amazing way. Standing on the edge of this little cliff right here. It's possible for you to do the things that you envision, but only, and only, absolutely only, when you achieve personal freedom through giving yourself the approval and saying that you are worthy and you are good enough. Because no matter how long you wait for somebody else to do that, and even if they do that, it's never going to fully free you because you'll have to keep getting it. It's almost like a drug. You have to keep getting the little high. When you approve yourself, it's permanent. When you approve yourself, the game is over. You've practically won. Are you sacrificing yourself to please other people, to make the other people around you happy? Are you giving up your own happiness? Because often we get this idea into our head that we need to give up what we like, how we want to be, what we want to do in order to make somebody else like us, to make them happy. And especially if you have a tendency to people please, you think and believe that this is what you're supposed to do. It's almost noble to put yourself aside and put your own happiness away so that you can please either your children or your family, your parents, your friends, your lover, your partner. You want to make them like you, right? Why not? I mean, it makes sense, but it's not worth it. Why? Because when you sacrifice yourself, you are making the impression on other people that you don't want that thing that you're giving up, that you don't want to be the way that you are stopping. The things that you're putting aside for them, it makes it look like you don't care about that stuff, like you don't value it. And so in their minds, all they're seeing and hearing is, oh, you don't want to do this anyway. So they might not even care, they might not even be that bothered, but because you're saying this isn't important to me, I can give it up, I don't really need that, it doesn't matter, how do you want to do it? It makes them feel like you just don't care that much about it. And you are basically presenting this front, creating these false values and portraying a character that really isn't you. And when you do that, you actually tear up your relationships. You actually damage them more than doing them any good. And the thing that you think you're doing to help them or make them happier is often what ends up hurting them in the long run, and yourself most of all. And remember that if you're ever on an airplane, if you're ever traveling somewhere, they tell you in the safety instructions to always put your own oxygen mask on first, before even helping your own child. And of course, we're all tempted to say, no, I want to help the child. That's noble, right? Save the child. You want to be a good person? You should save the child first. That's common consensus. But the reality is, the reason they tell you that is because you can't really take care of others if you don't take care of you first. If you don't help you, how are you going to help anybody else? If anything, you're probably going to be dead, and so is your kid, because you didn't take the time to put yourself in the position to help others. And you can't make your relationship great if you're not great. You can't have a great relationship if you're not a great person yourself. If you're not in a great state, if you're not happy, if you're not fulfilled, forget about ever making anybody else happy. So if you truly want to people please, if you really want to make some people like you, don't push yourself aside. It's better to be authentic to who you are. Say things as they are, and then deal with the consequences. Because guess what? There's a thing called communication. You can talk to people. Did you know that? I didn't realize that for a long time, and so I was always sacrificing myself. And then I realized, oh, you can actually figure out your issues. You can talk about it. The priorities can be balanced. Maybe you're not even a good fit. Oh well, worst case scenario, you go separate ways, or you just don't spend as much time together. But look, if you're not true to who you are, it doesn't matter how much they like you, because they don't really like you. They like a fake you, a false you. They like you under certain circumstances, not who you really are. And that will tear you up from the inside. That's the worst feeling in the world, is to be liked for someone who you're really not. Not be presenting your true authentic self. And I struggled with that for a long time, and that's why I'm shooting this video for you, because I want you to realize that you're doing more harm than good. If you're engaging in that kind of behavior where you're sacrificing yourself, you're self-sacrificing in order to make other people happy, in order to be noble, in order to look good, in order to build a relationship, you're actually doing more harm than good. So please, stop putting yourself aside for a moment. Stop being so noble and put on your own damn oxygen mask first. And then, and only then, will you be able to help others to the best of your ability. Will you be able to improve those relationships? And again, you can figure out the issues. You can communicate through whatever comes up as a result of that. That's good. That's healthy. That's how you build a good relationship. Not by putting yourself aside. Not by sacrificing who you are. Way too many of us walk around with a mask. We pretend to be someone that we're not, so that we can please the people around us. Usually, it's to make your family happy, to make your friends happy, to make your significant other happy, and at the cost of your own happiness. When you fake or pretend or create this persona, not really being yourself, it creates a huge problem in your mind and in your psyche, because you're basically creating another personality. If you're the kind of person that's introverted and you like to spend a lot of time with yourself and by yourself, if you're the kind of person that just doesn't really like social events and gatherings that much, but you're with somebody that constantly wants to go out, and for them, you push yourself, you force yourself to go out and spend time around people, and it makes you unhappy, at the end of the day, you're not serving them and you're not serving you. This is a relationship that's bound to go downhill. If you're around friends that don't really like you for the real you, when you talk about the things that you actually enjoy, they kind of look at you weird and judge you. Whereas when you are in with their thing and you're part of the group, they accept you and they love you and they applaud you for that, then you're around the wrong friends. And for a lot of people, the biggest reason we keep doing it, the biggest reason we keep struggling, the biggest reason we don't just move on is because we're afraid to be alone. That's the truth. I mean, think about it. It's a basic human need to have connection, to have relationships. And we think that, well, these people, at least they like me. You know, or this person, at least they're actually in a relationship with me. What if I can't find someone new? What if I can't be around other people? What if other people just won't like me or accept me? Because I've been fake for this long and pretending for this long, how do I even know who I really am? And you gotta break through this thing, because it's gonna torture you for the rest of your life if you let yourself continue to live with a fake persona. If you continue to pretend to be somebody that you really aren't, it's going to damage yourself. It's going to create trauma. And the people around you, you'll invest more and more into this persona. They'll invest into it, you'll invest into it. Before you know it, you don't even know who you are anymore. And there's nothing more depressing or sad than that. The worst thing is when somebody loses themselves, their voice, who they really are, to make somebody else happy. And the truth is, you're not even making them happy. You think you are, but it's really that they genuinely believe that you are this persona that you're putting on. They really believe that you are this character. So that's what makes them happy. And the real you just wouldn't connect with them. So here's the thing. So long as you keep doing this, you're actually blocking the opportunity for somebody to connect with the real you. You see, when you're not putting your real you out there, you're not giving the real you a chance. You keep putting on this persona, and it puts you in a situation where nobody can really see who you really are. Nobody can become friends with that person. Nobody can fall in love with that person. Nobody can connect with that person. And that's such a shame that I want you to please let go of the mask and just watch what happens. I know initially it hurts. I know initially the people around you might say, oh, well, get back in your little box. Go back to that old persona. What's happening? You're so different. You're so weird. What's going on with you? But here's the thing. Let them. Allow the pain. Allow the suffering. We gotta go through that because it creates diamonds. Pressure, it creates diamonds. A little bit of pain and a little bit of suffering here is not gonna kill you. Actually, what it'll do is create massive opportunity for you. It will create a scenario where now, when you meet new people, or even old people that used to be in your life, they have a chance to connect with the real you. And they might love you even more than before. They might say, wow, you're so different. You're so much better. You're so nice to be around. Your energy will go up. The way you feel about yourself, most of all, your self-esteem will skyrocket. Authenticity is the key to living a happy life. It is not wealth. It is not the relationships. It's not even being spiritual or feeling like you belong somewhere. It's being true to who you really are. Because from that base, all the relationships, all the wealth, or anything that you experience in your life is actually worth experiencing. The best way that I can put this is that if you were to live a really high quality life, quote unquote, and be financially wealthy, while trying to put on this weird persona, it's almost like you were to go to a movie and watch it just through a little crack between your fingers, basically missing the whole thing and just barely seeing some light flash off the screen. But when you're the real you, when you're authentic to yourself, when you express who you really are and you stay true to that person, you get to enjoy the full movie. You get to enjoy the full experience. You get the high definition, the 4K, whatever you want to call it. You actually get to enjoy your life. Are you worried about what other people think of you? Well, no wonder. Our DNA is playing catch-up with modern-day society, and we've evolved from a time where your reputation was everything. If one person decided that you were a scam artist and that you were evil, you could be chased by the whole town with pitchforks. So don't be upset that you're feeling this need for approval and validation. Just learn how to handle it, and it's actually pretty easy. You see, every moment that you spend worrying and thinking about what other people think of you, every moment that you waste in trying to people please is just a moment that you could have spent actually making yourself the kind of person that's interesting, worth being around, and actually attractive to other people. You see, it's no secret that the people that aren't so attached or really looking for that approval or validation are the people that get it the most. Notice how somebody that's a little bit cocky and funny and relaxed is usually a lot more likable than the person saying, I really hope you guys like me. We don't like that. We don't respond well to that because it's just not attractive. So instead of being upset, why don't we just do what works? And here's what works. Don't worry about what people think of you. Don't worry about getting other people's approval. Worry about getting your own approval. Listen, the best way to make other people like you, the best way to get them to think that you're a cool person, the best way to actually convince somebody that you're worth being around and that you're somebody they should do business with, be in a relationship with, spend time with, invest into, is by doing the things and having the qualities that make you like other people. So look at the people that you admire and think, what are the traits, what are the skills, what are the different talents that they have, that they bring as value to other people that makes people like them? Maybe it's a good sense of humor. Well, you could take some improv classes. It's not that hard, doesn't cost a lot of money. You could just watch a couple of comedy shows on YouTube and break them down and go, oh, well, here's a good joke and this one I really liked. And then learn them by heart. Next time you're in the conversation, throw a couple in there. All of a sudden, whoa, people are responding to you. What's going on here? As long as you're not trying to get a response and you're doing it because you find it fun and you enjoy doing it, people start to like you. People start to really want to be around you. People start to enjoy your company. It's not hard to impress people. It's not hard to make friends and to influence people. It's actually more difficult to turn people off and make them not want to spend time with you. But we do it because we get so obsessed thinking. And that's the biggest problem that we have, is thinking too much. So another great thing that you could do is take up the practice of meditation. Because if you spend some time silencing your mind, now when you're interacting with other people or you're meeting somebody new for the first time, you're going on a date, you're going to be present to the moment. You're going to show up and actually be there with the other people or the other person. Because you're not in your head trying to manipulate and predict. Instead, you can actually enjoy what's happening right here and right now. Look, chances are, if you're an average person, you're watching this video and you're even thinking as you're watching this video. Right now, as I'm talking, you're having a thought. That's how neurotic our minds are. Just crazy, running all over the place. And if you can learn to calm yours, you have a huge advantage. And it's really attractive. Somebody who isn't caught up in their head all the time. Because there's one thing to be said about being an amazing person, having all the right qualities. But if you're not present when you're interacting with other people, nobody's going to pay attention to you or want to be around you. If you're just sitting there on your phone, sitting in the corner, you're not looking very approachable. Yet that's more and more becoming the default for people. So if you really want to stand out and make a good impression, make people like you, make them just be drawn to you, become magnetic to other people, draw out that presence, work on that part of you. Now think about what other traits, what other characteristics could you develop that would actually make people think well of you? Again, what we're doing is we're thinking, what can I do to make people like me more? That's the underlying principle. It's not about, oh, will they like me? Won't they like me? Why don't they like me? Because that's a lot of the time what we end up thinking. But when you do that, you put yourself against the wall and you can't break through. So it's about asking the right question so that you can walk around the wall. Again, what is it that I can do in order to make a better impression? What can I do to care less about what they think of me so that they'll like me more? Well, you could go into a conversation, a dialogue, or a social situation with a lot more confidence and better body language. A lot of people, they have their shoulders hanging forward. They're kind of apologizing for themselves. They're trying to look small. They're afraid to take up space. They don't really want to, open up their chest and get themselves noticed. So think about that. How are you carrying yourself? Because this is creating a massive impression, whether you know it or not, subconsciously in people's minds about who you are, the type of person that you are, what you have to offer, and whether or not it's worth even talking to you in the first place. So what does the body language of somebody who's confident and charismatic look like? Well, it's very open. There's usually some hand gestures going on. You could probably see me talking right now. Maybe they have a sense of style, their own sense of style. They dress originally but classy, and they're not afraid to show who they are, their personality, through their wardrobe. Another thing is that they're just not afraid to take up space. They don't apologize for being a human being. When they sit on the chair, their legs are probably open, spread if you're a man. They're not afraid to, put their arms out. They're not afraid to touch other people. That's another big one. If you're worried about what other people think of you, you become all caught up and, oh God, what does this mean? What does that mean? Trying to analyze all the little social signals. But when you're a confident and charismatic person, you're not thinking about what other people are thinking about you. So that's the biggest lesson I want you to get out of this video. Stop thinking about what people are thinking about you. You're thinking about what they're thinking. That's crazy. What do you think? Do you think that this, hey, do you like me? Do you think that's good? Or do you think, hey, what's up? What's going on? Nice to meet you. Is a lot better. It's a pretty big difference. And this is me acting, right? This is me pretending to be all scared and worried. But what do you think that looks like when you genuinely are worried, when you genuinely are scared, when you genuinely are nervous about the response that you're going to get? That makes it that much worse. Do you understand? Because when you're then going around and also thinking and worrying, focus your attention on making the kind of impression that you want. Instead of thinking about what might come out or what kind of response you might get that you don't want, focus all of your attention on what you can do to make the right impression. Focus all of your attention on what is in your power instead of what's not. Because look, at the end of the day, you cannot decide what somebody else thinks of you. That's manipulation. You can't make their thoughts for them. Everybody's going to have a different opinion. And the worst part is, for people to accept at least, it's actually beautiful, but not everybody's going to like you. And you should be okay with that. You know why? Because you probably don't like everybody. Tell me, do you like everybody? Everybody you meet, everybody in the whole entire world, there's not one person that you dislike a little bit? Of course there is. So, if you dislike some people, would it be fair enough that some people are going to dislike you? Simple math. Think about it. Of course, some people aren't going to like you. So my best tip to you is this. Instead of trying to get everybody to like you, why don't you focus on the people that you do connect with? Because the people that that don't like you or you don't like them, it's a waste of time anyway. Trying to impress them, trying to be the right person so that they will like you, it's just going to drain your energy. And in the end, you'll maybe develop some kind of relationship that you won't even appreciate anyway because you're being a fake version of yourself. So that's the most important thing. Be who you really are, and then the people that you're supposed to connect with, it'll happen. And the people who don't like you, don't like you. Maybe you watch this video right now, and you got a bad impression of me. You don't like me. Well then, you don't have to come to my channel and subscribe and like my videos. But if you did, that's great. Some people will, some people won't. Either way is fine by me, and hopefully by you too. All you can do is your best to present who you are. Share what you have to say. Talk about your passions, what you enjoy. Connect with people. You know, that's it. That's all that's really in our power. Anything beyond that is just crazy. I mean, if it starts raining right now, I have two options. I can go find some shelter, maybe a cave somewhere down here. Or I can, try to get home. Or I can dance in the rain. Or, well, the two options are deal with it or get angry and upset at it and just complain. And most people pick that second one. They go, oh, well, it's raining. Ugh. God, that sucks. No, stop raining, stop raining, stop raining. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. Stop. You have to like me. That won't make them like you. Just do what you can. Deal with what's coming your way. Be open to it. Don't get attached to a certain outcome. Life is a flow. And our tendency is to try to make it into a little box, to make it simplified in a way where we can always control and manipulate the outcome. But the truth is, you have way less control than you ever think you do. And things could happen like this. Your life could end. And I'm telling you, at the end, when you're done, you're not going to lay there and say to yourself, you know what? I really wish I would have worried more about what people thought of me. What you will say is, God, I wish I wouldn't have taken others' opinions so seriously. I wish I would have lived more, been open, shared who I really was, and connected with the people that like me for who I am.